Hello and welcome to our extra talk from the Immersive Experience Studio here in Waldorf. A year ago, we produced our very first talk focusing on the SAP Finance and GRC strategy, roadmap and execution plan. It is now time for a refresher on the solution plans for 24 and beyond. So today, we will first take a look at the finance and risk product strategy and then dig into important innovation and of course some roadmap highlights. My name is Yannick Peterschmitt and I have the pleasure to be joined by the same group of leaders and experts as last year. I would like to start with you. Welcome back, Christoph. Good to have you on stage again. What is your role currently at SAP?
Yeah, thank you, Yannick. I'm Christoph. I'm heading Global Product Management for Finance and Risk. And together with my team, we are shaping the strategy for the portfolio and for the value of our customers.
Thanks a lot. And Katrin, warm welcome back as well. Good to have you on stage. What is your current role at SAP?
Yeah, I'm Katrin and I'm a product manager for SAP S/4HANA Cloud for finance and for governance, risk and compliance.
Great. And last but not least, Ulrich Hauke. Thanks for being with us today.
Hello.
What is your current role, Uli?
Yeah, hi Yannick. I'm Uli. I'm a product manager for finance and risk as well at SAP. And I've been with the company since 1997 and I'm thrilled to be here today to share my insights with you.
Great. It's a pleasure to have all the three of you back here. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that we will talk today about the strategy for finance and risk. And this strategy is, of course, completely aligned with SAP's overall product vision to enable our customer to perform at their best with solutions that can help them become resilient, profitable, and sustainable, our three key pillars. So for our customers, there are three business imperatives which are really top of their mind. First, they're looking for ways to increase the agility of their business. Second, they need the supply chain resilience. And third, of course, they're very much interested in producing sustainable outcomes. So Christoph, looking at those imperatives and knowing that you have a lot of contact with CFOs, what would you say are the most important questions to the CFOs today?
Let me point out three topics that are truly relevant in these times. First is geopolitical impacts. CFOs ask themselves, have recent geopolitical events had an impact on how I screen for and deal with restricted parties, for example? How will these events impact my business? Then secondly, ESG reporting and disclosure. CFOs ask, am I doing any ESG disclosures today that would be considered to have a material impact? How would I see this evolving over the next 5 years? And then thirdly, of course, AI technology for automation is key. And CFOs ask, have I explored enough opportunities to automate repetitive finance tasks within my organization?
Right. And how is SAP's vision being concretely translated in finance and risk to address the challenges of our CFOs and, of course, make them successful in their company?
We empower finance teams with our SAP Finance and Risk portfolio to become transformation drivers and lead their entire organizations to become intelligent, sustainable enterprises, as you have pointed out. In Finance and Risk, we mirror and support the three overall dimensions of the SAP vision. In order to increase business agility, we augment the business steering capabilities, focus on service-centric processes, and on intelligent automation. Secondly, customers find strong levers to harden their supply chains with risk-adjusted management capabilities, our holistic tax, trade, and treasury portfolio, and our value chain analysis and central finance offering. To drive sustainability outcomes, finance and risk is key. Carbon accounting, which you may also have heard of, like with Green Ledger, is where customers can truly manage their way to not only transform into an intelligent, but also a sustainable organization. And today we are also happy to announce that we have taken this finance and risk vision a step further. You now see a fourth box as a foundational layer, the SaaS Foundation, the Software as a Service Foundation. This SaaS Foundation is based on three aspects we heavily invest into. We delight our customers, and particularly the end users, so those who get the job done, with a modern user experience for the day-to-day tasks and the onboarding exercises. We free up human resources with our next generation end-to-end processes based on artificial intelligence, Gen AI and machine learning, so that they can focus on more value-adding tasks. And moreover, customers find flexibility and can scale easily based on ingrained enterprise cloud qualities.
Thank you for those very insightful information, Christoph. Now I'd like to delve into business outcome for our customers. I'm looking at you, Uli, for that one. Can you please elaborate on how finance and risk really contribute to enhancing the customer's business agility?
Yes. So business agility enables our customers to focus their time and energy on what matters most, the future of their business. And we see basically three key drivers of business agility. First, the augmented business steering. Secondly, the service centricity, as Christoph mentioned, and intelligent automation. What we intend with augmented business steering, we have already started using SAP Analytics Cloud Planning to generate predictive and simulation-based insights for the future. And an example of this is our predictive liquidity planning. We also have a predictive accounting offering, a comprehensive one, and our goal is to enable our customers to predict and simulate, completely changing their perspective. And this is a key aspect of how we enhance our customers' ability to steer their business. Another way we enhance business steering is by integrating our strong financial planning offering, which falls under what Gartner calls extended planning and analysis, XP&A in short. And this integration involves connecting supply chains and workforce management with financial flows.
Can you provide us with an example of a recent product enhancement in business steering capabilities?
Yes, for example, we have integrated workforce planning with financial planning, allowing for analysis not only of P&L, balance sheet and cash flow and financial KPIs, but also combinations of financial figures with headcount values. For example, this enables insights such as travel expense per full-time equivalent FTE or revenue per FTE. Another recent example introduced in SAP Analytics Cloud release 2023 Q3 is the driver-based calculation for financial statement planning. That means we provide planning functions to calculate planned accounts receivable and accounts payable based on drivers such as days sales outstanding and days payables outstanding, as well as relevant P&L accounts. And this allows for the derivation of balance sheet values based on historical dependencies to P&L accounts, which then can be adjusted according to business predictions.
What is SAP's goal in offering these solutions to the customers?
Our goal is to provide a broader range of solutions that cater our customers' needs in an increasingly volatile business environment, and by enhancing their ability to steer their business through augmented business steering and integrated financial planning and analysis. And we aim to empower our customers to make informed decisions and to navigate the future with confidence.
The second perspective to drive business agility is service centricity. This sounds in theory very good to me, but Uli, I'd like to challenge you on what is really the business side of that. Can you allude a bit on that one?
Sure. As times changes, our customers' business models also change, and we observe two groups. On the one hand, service organizations that have service ingrained in their DNA, and discrete manufacturing organizations that have expanded their offerings to include higher margin services in the recent decades. And both groups guide our strategic direction in supporting their business models. So specifically, we aim to enable the finance aspects of the overall quote to cash process. And in this process, we firstly assist our customers with automated revenue management, ensuring accurate revenue recognition. Additionally, we plan to expand our billing and revenue innovation management BRIM capabilities to cater to the needs of subscription-based and service-oriented business. However, our focus extends beyond that. In the finance domain, we also recognize the importance of margin analysis, service costing, and more planning for the future. This includes, for example, service-based and project-based planning scenarios. Finally, as the phrase quote to cash implies, our ultimate goal is to ensure efficient cash management. And to achieve this, we aim to integrate Taulia, our payment financing solution, even more closely into our portfolio.
Thanks a lot, Uli. I think the case for agility is now clear to me and for the audience. As next, we saw intelligent automation as the driver of augmented business steering. How does this help our clients concretely?
We aim really to automate, to hyper-automate processes for our customers, and there are two approaches we are considering. Firstly, we plan to run processes autonomously. However, we also understand that finance professionals often want to have control over processes as they are ultimately responsible, and therefore we will continue to focus on driving AI-optimized human interaction. And one of the initial processes we are focusing on is receivables management. And here our goal is to achieve autonomous receivables management and enterprise service management with AI-based communication and process redesign. We anticipate groundbreaking innovation. And this serves as a compelling example of how we combine business processes redesign with new technologies at the end of the day to drive value for our customers.
Thanks, Uli. That sounds indeed very, very promising. And when we look at supply chain resilience, which is top of mind in so many industries, where can finance and risk help there, Katrin?
Well, when it comes to supply chain resilience, finance and risk supports with three pillars, I would say. The first one is risk-adjusted management. The second one is holistic tax, trade, and treasury. And the third one being value chain analysis. If we look at risk-adjusted management, this is about increasing a company's resilience through an improved visibility into risks and controls. And here we have SAP Financial Compliance Management, our control solution in the cloud, integrated both with the public and the private edition. And when it comes to improving the visibility into controls, we have, for example, just introduced an operational dashboard for compliance specialists, which really provides full transparency on the issue and the remediation management side of the house.
Okay, so SAP Financial Compliance Management is, as the name says, and as you just explained, a compliance solution. But where does the risk management piece come into the game here? That's an excellent question, Yannick. Thanks for bringing that up. You're perfectly right. So far, FCM has been a solution which is very strong at supporting the compliance part of the end-to-end. However, we are looking into the future, and this is planned to change. So already early next year, we will significantly extend the solution with an integrated risk management. And with this, we can then provide really risk-adjusted management capabilities to our customers, supporting them along the complete compliance and risk end-to-end process. Great. This sounds very promising as well. Katrin, thanks for clarifying this. Now, how do we support our customers in tax, trade, and treasury? Well, in the light of growing regulatory and growing business needs, the handling of tax, international trade, and treasury is, of course, another key aspect regarding supply chain resilience and can be, of course, quite challenging, as we all know, for our customers. So here we support with our well-established and holistic product offering, which we are continuously extending. For example, in the area of tax, we're heavily investing. You certainly know our offering around RITA, registration of indirect taxation abroad. And beginning of next year, we plan to introduce our tax register for the public edition. So this is an open item managed subledger for transactional taxes, which provides full visibility into the tax position of a company. And in addition, we are also accommodating the increasing digitization of governance by paving the way for draft tax returns next year, and this will also be available for private and public cloud.
And for foreign trade, we are, for example, planning for next year to support our component manufacturing customers by embedding our international trade capabilities into their outbound processes. And for private cloud customers, there are many interesting innovations on the roadmap related to the integration with GTS, SAP Global Trade Services. Yeah, and last but not least, also our flexible integrated treasury management services play a key role in supporting our customers to really differentiate against the competition. As you know, we have a strong treasury and payment portfolio, and with the new version of in-house banking for advanced payment management, we just included, for example, enhancements in the area of withholding taxes and the calculation of fees. And in addition, for companies that are really looking for ways to integrate their end-to-end supply chain and to optimize their working capital, I would once again like to highlight the integration of Taulia into our portfolio. Uli mentioned it some minutes ago already, because this really offers a comprehensive suite around working capital management.
Impressive roadmap items that you've mentioned, and it really shows the clear commitment of SAP to focus and invest in that area. Thanks for bringing that up. What about now the third pillar of supply chain resilience, the value chain analysis? What is the goal here, Katrin?
Yeah, the goal here is really to increase the predictability of business outcomes by incorporating global value flows into accounting. And here we also have three key elements. First of all, we have our group reporting for private and public cloud, which is really key for corporate customers who are steering their groups worldwide, an innovation which continues to be very well perceived by our customers is, for example, the change from classic accounting integration to the tighter accounting integration with group reporting, which supports our customers in managing their value chains and really satisfies their reporting and consolidation requirements. And the second key element that I would like to mention here is central finance for our private cloud customers, which allows to leverage the finance innovations in SAP S/4HANA from a central perspective by simplifying financial management for organizations with a complex financial structure and by consolidating financial information from multiple systems onto one platform. And the third element is universal parallel accounting in public cloud, which really plays a key role when it comes to leveraging valuation, currency, and fiscal year flexibility on a broader scale. And we are currently investigating ways on how our private cloud customers can also take advantage of this innovation.
Okay, thanks a lot, Katrin.
Thanks.
Let's now come to the third pillar of today's presentation. As we said in introductions, the third customer imperative is the topic of sustainability, and this touches everyone, everywhere. So I'm looking at you, Christoph. What role can finance and risk play concretely here in making the world more sustainable?
Yeah. So what we observe are basically two things. One is more and more regulations require a finance-grade reporting on the environmental impact. So not only a normal reporting, I would say, but finance-grade, meaning really targeted for the finance audience at the capital markets. And then secondly, we see many customers where the topic of sustainability reporting shifting to the office of the CFO for that reason of needing to be finance-grade. And what we answer from SAP is that we intend to provide a reliable means for organizations to account for their impact and seriously report to stakeholders in a way the capital markets are used to it. And the key topic for finance and risk is at the core of the current discussion. It's how can accounting learn to handle carbon equivalence in the first place. You see there's three steps we're taking indicated here. First, we enrich the journal entries with quantities along the value chain. And then secondly, with that, we can extend the balance sheet, income statement, and disclosures by greenhouse gas quantities, which is a new, let's say, element. Typically, we look into values from a finance perspective. And then thirdly, with what we want to achieve is the overarching goal that carbon accounting is provided in finance quality. And this is clearly the expectation of the standard setters and of our customers. And you may be reminded of what Christian Klein referred to at Sapphire using the term green ledger, and take this as a code word for our aspiration in that field.
Okay, thanks. So it's about the granularity, it's about the quality, and really embedded in the finance report in the end.
Yeah.
Now we talked about the role of finance and risk regarding the business agility, supply chain resilience, and sustainability. But earlier on, Christoph, you mentioned a new element, the fourth dimension, the foundational layer, the SaaS Foundation. Can you please allude on this one?
Yeah, sure. Happy to do so. Let's now look at this SaaS Foundation a bit more in detail. What we do here is we increase our investments and improve our support for a successful and sustainable cloud transformation of our customers. What are the ingredients? User experience is key. We provide a modern end-user experience software our end users love to use throughout the entire life cycle. We recently delivered an optimized user experience in one of the most used apps in finance, the Managed Journal Entry app. After initial user research and intensive usability testing with end users from multiple companies, we are proud to present the new Managed Journal Entry app. And more usability improvements are planned. You can see this with our SAP Fiori roadmaps, with our SaaS solution enablement and redesign, and with localization efforts we support. Another key element in the SaaS Foundation, the end-to-end process. Our ambition is threefold here. First, a fostered integration of finance with quote-to-cash. We've heard this intensively already. Then a modern design and interfaces across major processes to enable customers to extend the processes in the specific way they need it. And then thirdly, of course, we leverage AI to enable individual process steps or functionality. And we use AI as a key design approach, and we've also heard of this already. So we bring in AI in an evolutionary way, but at the same time, we want to also revolutionize some processes entirely based on AI, and particularly on Gen AI, as Uli outlined already earlier. The SaaS Foundation then thirdly has to be flexible and scalable for our customers. That's what they expect in the cloud. We want to ensure flexibility and scalability of our solutions by embracing the latest enterprise-grade cloud qualities and technologies, like, for example, even more automated tests and stronger performance improvements.
So we've given you an update on the SAP strategy for finance and risk in this expert talk, and we wanted to make clear how this will help customers run more resilient, profitable, and sustainable businesses. A big thanks again to our SAP leaders and experts on stage with me. Now you surely ask yourself, what do I do next? You will find in the comments of the video the key links and resources to more finance and risk assets. And if you want to reach out, of course, we are only one click away. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.